SBA will lend you up to $5 million to buy your own small business with as little as 2.5% down. Here's one way to use it. Now, everyone comes to us wanting to buy a car wash, but with today's valuations, really anything that's more of a real estate transaction like a car wash is just really unbuyable. They just don't have enough cash flow to make your loan payments. And they're really not as passive as people think. I just talked to a seller this week that he visits his 5 times a week just to make sure that everything's running correctly. They're not as hands-off as I think a lot of people think they are. Now, don't get us wrong, we'd love a car wash at the right price, especially if we could own several of them. They take fewer employees to run than a lot of the other business that we talk about, and often just having employees can become a headache. We love the depreciation benefit that you get when you buy a car wash. You get a big tax benefit, and that can offset any earnings you have elsewhere, or it can mean maybe that your earnings from the car wash are tax-free for the first few years that you own it. But in most cases, the math just doesn't math. The cash flow just doesn't support the loan payment, so you can't get a loan to buy one, and you can't get a loan to buy one because you shouldn't buy one. So now here's an alternative to a traditional car wash. So our search assistant found an absentee run washing and detailing business in Houston, Texas. Now you can buy this with as little as $50,000 down, and you can own this $2 million business that generates $200,000 in after loan payment cash flow. Now that assumes 11.25% interest, 10-year SBA loan to buy this $2 million business that advertises $550,000 in cash flow. Now this one's interesting because it has a full management structure in place and is currently run completely absentee, which means your involvement as the owner could be similar to your involvement as the owner of a car wash. Now, one negative versus buying a car wash is that because this is primarily just people doing the detailing and washing the cars, typically over time, employees' wages are just gonna go up with inflation, versus at a car wash, if you have machines doing the work, the costs stay relatively flat. So you're gonna get faster profit growth from a traditional car wash where you have machinery doing the work than washing system where you have primarily people doing the work. But the good news is you're starting at a much higher level. So even though the other one might grow faster, it's going to take a long time, many years before you'd be better off by owning the physical car wash. And in addition to washing and detailing, they also offer a large valet service for malls, the ballparks, certain restaurants in town. So we'd be really interested to see the breakdown in earnings between the car wash, the detail, and the valet. My assumption is there probably aren't a lot of people getting their car washed with this company that aren't doing a detail at the same time. So that does bring in, it's even more discretionary than a typical washing would be. So it probably costs a little bit more. So it's probably a little bit more economically sensitive than a traditional car wash would be. So does this business work? It's a provider of 3-in-1 services with full management structure in place. We have lots of questions, but if we're in the Houston area, we definitely want to learn more. What do you think? Would you buy a car wash today? And what do you think? If you already owned one, would you try to scale up by adding some of these services? So reach out if we can help you buy your next business.